Akagami's story unfolded on a bright, sunny morning, the air ringing with the resonating sound of a gong being struck by a cheerful high school girl. The school grounds were alive with energy as a group of girls in athletic uniforms dashed across the field, their movements exuding youthful vigor. On the other side of the fence, a group of boys lingered, stealing glances and exchanging animated whispers. One of them, unable to resist, called out to his friend. But the friend, Akagami, dismissed the invitation with a curt refusal. He always had the same excuse, his part-time job. His peers groaned in frustration, accusing him of being predictable. They even extended an offer to join them at a mixer, but he brushed it off without hesitation. "I don't need any women in my life," Akagami muttered to himself, his tone laced with misplaced pride. He wore his stoicism like armor, convinced that his path in life didn't require distractions like relationships. Later, at his workplace, Akagami's manager apologized profusely for summoning him on such short notice. "I hope I didn't ruin any plans with your girlfriend," the older man teased lightly. Akagami stiffened. "I'm not my father," he retorted sharply. The manager laughed, unbothered by the response. "At your age, your dad had the right idea," he said. "It's always better to have plenty of friends, and maybe more than friends. You should conquer as many girls as you can." Akagami froze, his stomach twisting at the suggestion. His father's reputation loomed over him, a shadow he couldn't escape. His father, a man who had shamelessly pursued fleeting romances, had left a stain on their family's name. The shame followed Akagami wherever he went. In the eyes of his peers, he was automatically labeled a pervert because of his father's notoriety. Resolving to break free from this stigma, Akagami decided to focus solely on his studies. He dreamed of acing the national exams, securing a high-paying job, and living a life of unshakable normalcy, free from the burdens of mixers, relationships, and other worldly distractions. He vowed to suppress all desires. As Akagami walked home, lost in thought, his life took an unexpected turn. A massive bag of rice struck him out of nowhere, sending him crashing against a wall. Dazed, he looked up to see a beautiful girl with long black hair, struggling under the weight of two large rice bags. Her face was a picture of concern as she hurried over to check on him. "Are you okay?" "I'm so sorry," she said in a flurry of panic. Akagami tried to reassure her, though his head was spinning. He wanted to escape the awkward situation and waved off her concern, but something about her captivated him. Her delicate features, her gentle voice. He was utterly smitten. The realization horrified him. He blamed his feelings on his cursed Akagami bloodline and spent the rest of the evening in turmoil. That night, he told himself that sleep would erase these emotions. But by the next day, his resolve crumbled. Unable to shake thoughts of the girl, he found himself peeking at other girls at school, joining his friends at a mixer, and indulging in the very distractions he had vowed to avoid. His newfound recklessness spiraled out of control. He skipped work, earning him a dismissal from his part-time job, and his absences from class piled up until he was forced to drop out of college. In desperation, Akagami made a drastic decision. He would become a monk. Believing this path would purge him of his worldly desires, he took temporary leave from school, donned a Buddhist robe, and sought refuge in a temple. His newfound determination gave him a fleeting sense of peace. But fate had other plans. As he approached the temple door, he saw her, the same girl who had haunted his thoughts. She stood at the entrance, carrying an air of innocence and curiosity. Panic seized Akagami, and he slammed the door shut. "Wait," she called out, her voice urgent. She pushed the door open and stepped inside, her movements rushed yet graceful. Akagami, still in shock, could barely process her presence. As she approached, she tripped over a loose stone and fell in an awkward, almost comedic fashion. Unfortunately for Akagami, her fall was anything but innocent. She landed in a position that made his heart race and his self-control waver. "I'm so sorry," she stammered, brushing herself off. "I'm just so clumsy." Akagami's face burned with embarrassment as he realized it was her, the girl from before. She introduced herself as Aoba Yuzuki, bowing slightly as she spoke. Overwhelmed, Akagami attempted to retreat, but his foot caught on a rock, and he stumbled backward. Aoba instinctively reached out to steady him, but in the process, her kimono slipped slightly from her shoulder, revealing more than Akagami could handle. His mind screamed at him to flee, to stick to his vow, but his words betrayed him. Instead of telling her he needed to leave, he found himself staying. And so began Akagami's chaotic journey, a battle between his ideals and the irresistible pull of Aoba Yuzuki. The quiet life he had envisioned was now a distant dream.